Hello, everyone. I'm Minister James Moss, and we're here again with continuing education. We are in the 13th chapter of Acts. We're starting the 13th chapter. This video is going to cover the first three verses of the 13th chapter. And basically what it is Barnabas and Paul are sent out. Okay? So without further ado, let's make it do what it do. Luke's history of the church changes focus to the Gentile ministry and the subsequent spread of the church around the world. Beginning in chapter 13 with the Spirit's selection of Paul and Barnabas to become special missionaries, Paul replaces Peter as the central figure in the book of Acts as the church continued its Spirit-led penetration farther out into the world beyond Jerusalem. All right, so here we go, chapter 13. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. As they ministered to the Lord, and fasted, the Holy Ghost said, "Separate me Barnabas and Saul for the work whereunto I have called them." And when they had fasted and prayed and laid their hands on them, they sent them away. All right, so here we go. Verse 1, the church of Antioch at Syria became the sending center of the mission to reach the world. This first verse gives us an idea of its truly international makeup and of the broad spectrum of people who were being reached by the gospel. Until this point, it appeared that Barnabas and Paul had been the principal teachers in the church of Antioch. This list shows at least these three others who were said to have had the gifts of being prophets and teachers. Barnabas appears first on the list because he was likely the leader of the group. Simeon, because of his black skin, had caused some speculation that this was the same Simeon of Cyrene who carried the cross of Christ. But that is unknown. That's not confirmed. The next name on the list was a man from Cyrene by the name of Lucius. Cyrene was in North Africa. Lucius was probably among the Cyprian and Cyrenian men who first preached the gospel to Gentiles in Antioch. The fourth individual was Manaen, a child companion of King Herod Antipas. Saul was a highly trained rabbinic Jew and a Roman citizen. His name closes the list of this very diverse group. The social, geographic, and racial variety of these people shows that the Spirit of God had been moving rapidly over a broad geographic area. Not only had the good news spread to these areas, but the Spirit of God used cosmopolitan Antioch to put together a diverse team for the next phase of kingdom expansion. Verses 2 and 3. These believers were worshiping the Lord and fasting when God sent them a special message. Just as Peter and Cornelius received messages while praying, so God spoke to these believers as they were seeking him. Fasting means going without food for a specific time period or specific period of time in order to focus on the Lord. People who are fasting can set aside the time of preparing and eating meals and use it to worship and pray. Also, their hunger pangs will remind them of their complete dependence upon God. The Spirit spoke, possibly through one of the members of this group. The Spirit told them to dedicate Barnabas and Saul for the special task God had for them. The laying on of hands was a symbolic act that indicated public recognition of calling and ability, as well as the association of a particular congregation with the mission or with the ministry. The roots of the practice are found in the Old Testament, where it was used to set someone aside for an office, bless someone, or dedicate something to God. The church at Antioch was identifying itself with these two men and with their mission. With that, they sent them on their way. All right, so we always, even for people who had not been in church, we heard about Paul and Barnabas. Paul and Barnabas, and then eventually we hear about Paul and Silas, and you find out what happened in between. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert if you don't know. All right, but that concludes this particular video, and we're about to move into now the portion of Acts that really focuses more on the Apostle Paul. So again, ask God to help your understanding as we go through these lessons. If there's anything that you feel like there's a doubt or you have question about, seek it in prayer. Go back and listen to the scriptures, listen to the commentary, go use some other resources and dig deeper. All right. By all means, keep studying. Keep studying. God bless you.